The political storm over Kerala story refuses to abate. While there have been several boycott calls and the strongest reaction so far, West Bengal government has become the first state to ban the movie. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee said this was to avoid any incident of hatred and violence and to maintain peace. The announcement came just minutes after Mamata Banerjee said that the BJP was funding a film on Bengal on the lines of Kashmir Files in order to defame the state.
What is this Kerala Files? BJP is showing the Kerala Files a distorted stories. They came to Bengal also, and along with some distorted stories, the concocted stories, they are preparing a films, Bengal Files. If they can prepare the Kashmir Files to condemn the Kashmiri people, now they defame the Kerala also.
Intriguingly, so far, no reports have emerged from TMC-ruled state to back the apprehensions of a law and order issue. BJP, that has been asking people to watch the film as an expose on a terror conspiracy, has said that this is nothing but an attempt to hide the truth and a blatant injustice.
एक्सपोज करने का काम इस फिल्म के माध्यम से हुआ है, उसको रोकने का काम नहीं कर रहे। क्या कांग्रेस और कम्युनिस्ट जैसे पार्टियां केरल में तो उसको रोक नहीं पाई, अब फिल्म को भी रुकवाने का काम कर रही हैं? क्या ये भारत की मासूम बेटियों के साथ हो रहे अन्याय के साथ कांग्रेस पार्टी खड़ी है कि खिलाफ खड़ी है? चेहरा बेनकाब हो रहा है इन लोगों का जब ये तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति कर रहे हैं, वोट बैंक की राजनीति के चलते बेटियों को गलत रास्ते पर जाने पर मजबूर कर रहे हैं। और पश्चिम बंगाल जैसा राज्य तो फिल्म को बैन करके एक इतना बड़ा अन्याय कर रहा है।
Caught unawares by a state-backed ban, the team that is already facing a boycott by theatre owners in Tamil Nadu and several isolated threats of violence against screening in other states says that they will now take legal recourse.
Mamata Banerjee has directed Chief Secretary of Bengal government to ban Kerala story in Bengal. So there is a possibility that that may happen. How do you react?
Again, if that is what she has done, then we will again take a legal action. Whatever is possible under the provisions of law, we will fight that.
But this ideological opposition seems to have now gone out of hand with violent threats seen in differences of opinion. In Tamil Nadu, a day after NTK leader warned of laying siege to theatres and vandalize them, theatre owners have decided to pull off the film on their own, saying that they fear law and order issues. They're also citing low turnout. But listen to what the state government that is supposed to ensure the safety of theatre owners and theatre goers has to say about this.
Party nor the government has any role in Kerala Files movie. It was in fact the police arrested those protesting against the release of the movie. But unfortunately, the movie's reviews were really bad. The owners, they said, because there were no takers for the movie, they were forced to take this movie out and play a different movie. This is, I think, normal practice. Whenever a movie doesn't have traction, theatre owners immediately change the movie. I don't think there is any need to do any politics on this. As usually, you know, BJP is doing politics and trying to divide people. So they're also trying to do the same with this.
Why an effort to try and ban a film even though people themselves are giving it a thumbs up? Isn't this running counter to the very idea of freedom of speech? Joining us, Tuhin Sinha, BJP spokesperson, Mithun Vijay Kumar, political analyst, Kevin Matthews, a political analyst, and Anirban Banerjee, also political analyst. What is the reason to ban the film in West Bengal? Why does West Bengal have this dubious distinction of being the first off the block, Anirban Banerjee?
This is not a dubious distinction, but this is an honorable distinction. I hope most of our rest of the country will follow in the future. That West Bengal has shown the path in how to deal with films like these, not even films, just propaganda movies.
Like what?
They first started out.
When you say films like these, means what? Films like what?
Then they changed it to 3. Kashmir Files, Kerala story, and maybe there will be more to come. They have said that they will make a Bengal Files. We can very clearly understand what.
Why can't they make whatever files they want?
The kind of factual distortions is Kashmir Files.
The Supreme Court of India, the high courts in our country have upheld it.
And if they,
are you bigger than the courts of the country?
Fine. If they come out with So what about the BBC documentary? Those people who are praising the Kerala story and criticizing the ban, why don't they allow the BBC documentary? What about the Gujarat government answering on the data that more than 40,000
So you're saying that the BBC documentary was also
Gujarat
justified in being banned, right? You're saying that propaganda should be banned. You think the Kerala story is propaganda? BJP thinks that the BBC documentary is propaganda. But do you support the BBC ban then? Let's get that clear. You support the ban on BBC.
BJP thinks that this ban is a wrong move. First, let them start by unbanning the BBC documentary.
Let me then ask you. As far as I am concerned, nothing should be banned. Even the BBC documentary ban was wrong. That being said, I am asking you, not the BJP, I am asking you, do you in principle then support the ban on the BBC documentary?
Of course not. The BBC documentary was based on a real incident that took place in 2002. In the case of the Kerala story, the makers they themselves changed the numbers from 32,000 to 3.
So if it happens to 3 women, it shouldn't be told.
Factual base.
If it is about 3 women, it shouldn't be told. If a story is about 3 women being radicalized and turned into human slaves,
it has to be fact-based.
How do you know it is not fact-based?
Madam, the problem is...
Hold on, Mr. Kevin Matthew. How do you know it is not fact-based?
Their own flimsy stance on it. If it was 32,000, why did they change it to 3?
If it is now based on 3, should that story be told or not?
Facts, why did they have to change it from 32,000 to 3?
Well, whatever be the logic, if it is about the story of 3 girls, should it be told or not?
They wanted to create a stir?
Madam,
Okay. Tuhin Sena. This is based on propaganda. Hence, it should be banned. First of all, it came down from 32,000 to 3. Hence, there are chinks in the storytelling. That's why the West Bengal government doesn't want to have this dodgy film in their state. Tuhin Sena.
Well, good evening, Padmaja. Good evening, everybody. First of all, the movie Kerala Story is anti-ISIS. It speaks for the victims, the poor girls who have been victims of jihadi terror and love jihad. So I have no reason, I don't understand why Mamata Banerjee and TMC should have a soft corner for ISIS. That's point number 1. Number 2, way back in 2009, the Kerala High Court had first used the term love jihad and asked the then Kerala government to frame laws to arrest the practice, citing that 3,000 to 4,000 girls had been converted. This is 2009. We are 14 years down the line. 2 CMs belonging to 2 different parties, Omen Chandi of the Congress party and V. Achyutanandan of the CPIM have both spoken.
Talk about the ban, Tuhin Sena. Today you are outraged by the ban on Kerala Story when you have banned the BBC documentary. Everyone will keep doing whataboutery on this. You banned BBC documentary.
The BBC... No, BBC was anti-Indian. The Supreme Court of India had exonerated the Chief Minister. The BBC documentary clearly neglected the rulings and very selectively brought out facts to denigrate the country 20 years later. Over here, please understand the Caliphate, an OTT series on Netflix has been made on a similar topic. Does TMC have a problem with that also? They are very clearly signaling to the jihadi elements in Bengal to create ruckus when there has been no law and order problem so far.
Respond, Anirban Banerjee.
So I think the malified intent of Mamata Banerjee needs to be exposed over here. The Kerala High Court has refused to ban the movie and her decision to ban it is completely illegal, which you will realize in due course of time.
The simplest thing is this, that if you apprehend a law and order problem, you ensure that there is no law and order problem. That is literally the responsibility of the state. You cannot say, oh, people are going to start rioting, so I am going to put the person against whom there could be violence behind bars. You put the rioters behind bars, sir. Mr. Banerjee. The film here is the victim. It is the people threatening violence who should be controlled, not the film.
Hello? No. Along with the law and order situation thing, there is also the ideological positioning question. If the TMC or the state government feels that they have to take a stance against these fascist propagandas, then they have done the right thing.
That is the thing. So basically, you are stopping any ideology that is opposed to yours. What is the ideology, by the way, that is being protected here? The ideology being opposed in the film is that of ISIS.
Of course, the TMC is against the fascist ideology. That is for a given.
So calling out the
Therefore, to
ISIS
fight
is fascist.
Whatever the government or whatever the party needs to do, it will do.
So calling out the ISIS is fascist.
This is very similar. This is very similar to the fascist propaganda that used to take place during Hitler's Nazi period.
Sir, you have to elaborate on what you mean. You can't just say fascist 36 times and expect that it's going to make sense. You have to explain what you're saying. You can't just keep saying fascist, and when you get tired of that, you start saying Nazi.
Yes,
then you say Goebbels.
You
You have to make some sense of that also.
I am explaining.
Yes.
Padmaja, during the Nazi rule, there were a string of films made by Nazi filmmakers. There were half-baked truths, not entire facts. There were stories, make-believe stories. There were a lot of ideas, thoughts that Hitler found to be true, not the real world. They were converted into films, they were converted into movies, and those were the propaganda movies of the Nazi era.
Mithun Vijay Kumar, it is definitely fascist to stop somebody from talking about radicalization, because why not? In a democracy, you can't even radicalize 3 women.
See, Padmaja, a couple of things have been spoken here, and I would like to comment on the last thing that Anirban spoke. He said we are kind of similar with the Nazi ideology. And if Anirban knows, Nazi itself means, German, Nationalist Social German Workers' Party, which has their ideology, which is somewhat aligned to Anirban's ideology itself. Now, whether the issues discussed in the movie are serious or not must be left to the viewer's discretion. But no, the same people who speak about creative freedom want to get this banned because they can't tolerate criticism. And like you said earlier, these are the same guys who made arrangements to play a propaganda documentary of BBC, and they can't tolerate a movie now. And Anirban must know that BBC documentary is a misrepresentation of an issue in which Supreme Court has given a verdict, and a documentary is supposed to show us facts, but it is still a movie. And see, the problem is about 32,000 people being recruited from Kerala, you should listen to what Kerala CM Pinarayi Vijayan has said. I'm not going back to what Mr. Achutandan said, or I'm not going back to what Mr. Umman Chandi said. I am speaking about what Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan said in 2019 or 20 on record. He said that 100 people from Kerala have joined ISIS, out of which, leaving aside 6 people, rest all are from a particular community. I don't want to name that community now. Just imagine the kind of network that is spread across the state to enable such 100 recruitments. That's probably more than the numbers shown in the movie. 32,000 may just be a very small number if you consider the entire network. Now, I want to ask, since when did this whole thing become an RSS propaganda, or how can you say that RSS is they are the propagators of love jihad theory? Because we know that, one of the early mentions to love jihad actually came from the former chief minister, P.S. Achutandan itself, which was already said by the BJP
spokesperson. Irrespective, even if it was supposed to be some kind of propaganda, as long as it passes the test of legality, of the censor board, and of the Supreme Court, that there is nothing illegal in it, Kevin Matthew, how can somebody unilaterally stop it? And it's worse, in Tamil Nadu, there isn't even an overt ban. All that is being done is the theatre owners are being left to their own devices, saying, oh, somebody is threatening violence, we can't protect you, deal with it. What do you expect? The theatre owners themselves have blackballed the film.
Let me tell you, the Tamil Nadu theatre owners took the movie off the theatres because the numbers were so bad, because the theatres requested protection. When there was a concern, the government was willing to give it. But then they took the movie off, not because of a risk of an issue, but because the movie was doing such shoddy numbers.
How do you know? What are the movie's numbers? What are the movie's numbers? The movie right now, the total box office collection is 37 crores. 37 crores.
Ma'am, the movie took in a total of 80 lakhs from Tamil Nadu, which is very trivial. And that is not, with the number of theatres in Tamil Nadu, the total collection of 80 crores across the weekend is financially not viable.
This is very convenient. Mithun Vijay Kumar, would you like to respond to this? This is not about any threat. This is about it's not doing well. It's not earning them money. Mithun Vijay Kumar. In Tamil Nadu.
Movie is already a big hit, and I would like to congratulate people like Mr. Is anyone speaking in between? Hello?
Yeah, Kevin Matthew. That's Kevin Matthew. Go on, respond. Mithun Vijay Kumar.
So people like Kevin Matthew, or the ones who endorse the ideology of Kevin Matthew, have already made the movie a big success, and it's a box office hit. You should know that. And if misrepresentation of facts, or if you are saying the 32,000 is a big number, I've already explained that. Now, if Kerala story, the name Kerala story is very insulting to you, you should go and check what the ADGP intelligence of Kerala said 2 weeks ago when Prime Minister visited Kerala. There was an intelligence note that was leaked, and in that intelligence note it reads, Keralites have links with IS, which is a matter of concern. Now, this is the same Pinarayi Vijayan's police saying it. Now, is that more insulting to you? Because for me, as a Malayali, I feel insulted when I read a statement that Keralites have links with IS. Nobody is speaking about it. No one wants to discuss it. It doesn't say certain groups in Kerala have links with IS. It doesn't say certain elements in Kerala are linked with IS. It speaks about the entire Malayali society, and that's even more insulting. But nobody wants to discuss about it. We want to discuss a movie. Now, you see, if conversion is an issue, there are plenty of cases that have come out.
Conversion is not an issue. Respond to this. Mithun Vijay Kumar, he is saying squarely that as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, the shadow ban, or rather the theatre owners have removed the film not because they are scared, not because the state is pressuring them, because the movie is not doing well, and that is a democratic right.
See, for that, I don't know from where he's getting the statistics, but if you compare how the movie is performing in other states, we know that it's doing very well, even in the theatres in Kerala. It's all the tickets are sold out. So how did the theatres in Tamil Nadu arrive at that conclusion is something I don't know. But when I see it in Chennai, there is a particular Muslim group that is raising Allahu Akbar slogans in front of the theatres and threatening the theatre owners is what we can see. There are plenty of videos. I can share it with Mr. Kevin. Because there is one particular party that was raising Nara Takbir slogans and tearing the posters, which we have all seen, especially in Coimbatore and Chennai. This is a big issue. So the theatre owners are actually scared, not because
Kevin
of
Matthew, is it entirely a coincidence that the Tawheed Jamaat carries out a protest, that there are threats of violence, and suddenly the Film Theatre Association says, oh, this is not making profits for us?
Ma'am, let me come in. Now I understand why Midun has such an affiliation to this movie. Because him, like the proprietors of movie, has absolutely no regard for facts. 32,000, the movie numbers, absolute misrepresentation.
Kevin Matthew, even if one person is radicalized, the filmmakers are within their rights to make a movie and screen it. Even if one person, you are not here to ban them and fact check them after the censor board and the courts of the land have cleared it.
By your logic, the filmmakers are within their rights to make a movie.
Yes.
And the theatre owners are within their rights to choose which movie is right for their business. So by your own logic, it is absolutely democratic. What is
Absolutely, they are well within their right, but we also have the right then to question whether they are doing it willingly or they are doing it for fear of violence, and question the silence of the state in allowing this threat of violence to exist. Tuhin Sena, in a democracy, people have the right to make a movie. People have the right to ban a movie. It's all democracy.
Padmaja, the sad part, I feel very sad today because today Mamata Banerjee had the opportunity to stand up for the girls, for the children who have been victims of this form of terror, but instead she chose to stand with jihadis. My simple question is, next, will she demand a ban on the series Caliphate on Netflix? Today, she has shown that it is more important for her to nurture her jihadi constituency way back in her home state than to fight for the rights of women who are being continuously indoctrinated in this manner. And when it comes to figure, even if the movie is exaggerated, I support the exaggeration, because please understand, a movie like this is preemptive in nature. Unlike Kashmir Files, which was made in hindsight 30 years after the incident took place, this is an evolving situation. Grooming gangs is a problem across UK. Rishi Sunak has spoken about it. It is only in India where you have hypocritical politicians like Mamata Banerjee who pretend that the problem does not exist, and such a thing is very dangerous for the future of a country.
See, ultimately, whatever the filmmakers have shown, even if it is propaganda, if it is fake, it is the people who get to decide. They can go to the theatre and come back and make up their mind. To ban it will only strengthen the idea in the minds of people that some sections want to block the Kerala Files because they don't want this story told. I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks very much, all gentlemen, for joining me. I'll see you next at 10 p.m. on the News Hour Agenda, where we'll take a look at the Karnataka campaign so far on the day that campaign